Alright guys, welcome. This is Martinique here from the AdCrease team. Today I have some super exciting stuff for you. I have this performance optimization checklist, and this is what you can use to make sure your accounts, your Google Ads accounts, are completely up to date, guys. So this covers all sorts of optimizations that you can do. Those you can do in pretty much every account, depending on the campaign type you're running. So we have some general stuff here. We have PMX, we have shopping, we have search, we have display, YouTube, all sorts of stuff. And I just hope this will allow you guys to make sure your accounts are completely up to date and you're running all the optimizations that you should, guys, because we see so much accounts not optimized properly. We do audits like every month, and every time we find the same things, and this should all be covered within this optimization checklist. I'm just gonna explain some of the things that I outlined here for you guys to make sure that you just completely understand, to make it as easy as possible for you. Just allow me to increase it. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna run you through general optimizations and all the other stuff as well. So I created this overview in the middle to make sure you know when you should perform a certain optimization. Of course, this can depend per account, but this is just to give like a general overview of what you can do. These are approximates, of course. So I'm just gonna remove this here to make sure that we have like a pretty clear overview here. I also aligned some has some impact. Some are high, some are medium, some are also low. Then again, guys, this can differ per account, which is my personal opinion here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna run you through. I also have this that I find pretty useful. So let's say you did this, I don't know, like the 2nd of August, whatever date just comes to mind, and then you see when you can do this again. So every time you open up your accounts, guys, and you have this checklist in front of you, you can just see like, hey, what are the things I should be looking at today? And then you can just run through them in like a very structured, in a very organized way. I really like working this way. It allows me to maintain an overview of the things I did. So we make sure to never forget a certain optimization. I'm just gonna start with the general part, and then we're gonna move on to all the others, of course. I also have some notes for you guys. I have some resources here. Make sure to check this out. Super useful and valuable for you guys. I hope, of course. So I'm just gonna start off here. So check your ARs. Yeah, obviously, I would turn them off if I were you. This is just something that you can define per account. First off, really important, make sure your targets are, your bid strategies, sorry about that, are making your targets. So what I like to do is I like to segment per month and then use the column average target CPA or average target ROAS and compare it with your actual ROAS and your actual CPA to make sure you're meeting your targets. If not, just run through this list to find any outliers and any stuff that you should do. Check your account performance. I like to use a Data Studio dashboard. Looker Studio it is. I'm just gonna create like a separate video how you can like very easily create this. I'm not gonna do that here. This is just something to keep in mind for you guys. Are the targeted locations still okay for the client? So of course businesses change, targets change, things change all around the world in every business. Make sure to know where you're advertising and if your business is still aligned with those locations. Money is easily wasted here. I'm just going to run you through a location report in a bit so you can see how the performance is. Sorry. Check your recommendations. Sometimes there are actually useful things in here, like ad groups without ads or something, or ad groups without keywords. Make sure everything is just set up properly. Sometimes there are also disapprovals here, so that's good to keep an eye on. Make sure your rules and your scripts are working, guys. I've seen lots of scripts having errors. You can just easily check this here. I have like a few random scripts here from an account I pulled. Just check your status every once in a while to make sure your scripts are still doing what they're supposed to do. Check your search term performance. Use an n-gram. I like this script from Nils. Make sure to check him out. He has like super useful content. I just run through these search terms. Definitely in new accounts without lots of historical data. Money is easily wasted on irrelevant search terms, on competitor names, on stuff that you're not selling. So I like to use, let's say, 3 different negative keyword lists. One of them is irrelevant keywords, things you're not selling, competitor names that are probably irrelevant, and performance. Because for competitor names, it can happen that those just don't convert. And for your irrelevant queries, make sure to exclude them. And the other one was performance. If you see any underperforming search terms, let's say you had like 100 clicks on a search term and it didn't convert, you might want to exclude that, guys, depending on your account and your business, of course. Are your measurement solutions measuring data? This is super important to know. Why is this? Oh, yeah. I'm just gonna scroll here. Yeah. So are they measuring data? Make sure to check that, guys. What you can do here is you can head over to the goals overview and just see if this tag is green and active, and your enhanced conversions is working, your consent mode is working. If you use offline conversion imports, make sure your data quality is good, and also just check when your conversion tag last fired. Was this today? Was this yesterday? That's okay. Was this 3 months ago? Then probably your conversion tracking is off. Something you just want to check regularly. Are your budgets in line with your account spend? Sometimes you have like a super high budget. That's okay, but then again, if you're meeting your ROAS or your CPA target, it can overspend, so make sure not to have like huge budgets when your performance is not that stable. Something I like to change when I expect overspend to occur. For example, after Black Friday or something, make sure to cut those budgets. Then there are some checks you can do on certain elements like locations, network, audience. Just gonna run through some of them here to keep it brief and short for you guys. So for the location overview, I just like to check. I just pulled this from an account saying, hey, we want to advertise in Netherlands only. Okay, then check if you're actually advertising in the Netherlands. You can also set this to region. Then you can see like, hey, are there any overperformance? Are there any underperformers? And then you can also see like, hey, I'm just gonna take ROAS here, conversion value divided by cost, and the number of conversions as well. Just like to play around with this and see like, hey, where are we spending? And is that actually okay? For example, I can consider excluding this region here because it just underperforms a bit. Make sure to have like a relevant date range for your analysis as well. I like to check like at least 3 months here. Let's say this one is kind of underperforming. Might want to exclude it. I'm not gonna do it now, but that's just something for me to keep an eye on. Let's say you want to check the network. You can segment your campaigns by network. Not gonna do this as it kind of speaks for itself. And just make sure to check every once in a while if your networks are still performing the way you would like them to perform. I'm not gonna save this. Audiences, kind of the same thing. Just make sure you know that you're spending on the right audiences. You can check this. You can just check your audience performers in your account, in your campaign. If you see any huge outliers, you can exclude them. Also make sure to check device regularly. Do you see any crazy outliers? Maybe your website isn't really performing on mobile, then that's something that you can maybe check with a developer. Ad schedule, something I also like to run regularly. So let's say I would pick like last 90 days here, last 3 months, guys, and I would check like, hey, what days are we advertising here and how is performance? So for example, we're running on a target CPA of around 250 here. So I don't see any crazy outliers here. Let's say that one of the days had like a cost per conversion of 500 plus. Might want to be something I would like to exclude, but not in this case. This is really useful, guys. Just make sure to check this, like when and where your ad showed. Then you can select day, you can select hour, you can select all different stuff for your analysis. Check your auction insights. This is a report I got from an email from Niels Roymans. Be sure to check him out. It's like super useful here. This is like an easy overview of how we perform in shopping, looking at our impression share, who are our competitors here. So then we can check like, hey, is there any crazy competitor activity going on that we should know about that can maybe influence our performance. Really useful to check this every once in a while. Update your customer match lists. Yeah, this kind of speaks for itself. Most accounts don't have this set up automatically, so you can use Zapier, for example, to update your lists every day. Not everyone has that. I like to do this like at least every 3 months. And just update those lists so we know, so Google knows who our clients are. Check your quality score on your top spending keywords. It's kind of obvious maybe, but sometimes we see really low quality scores, something that really might need some attention. We don't want to optimize for a high quality score, but it can be alarming if you have like a really low quality score. I'm not going to cover all of this in this video. I'll make a specific one about it later. Update your custom segments. Well, this might need some extra context. I like to use custom intent audiences when we're running YouTube, demand gen, display campaigns, for example. And then I like to create audiences for, let's say, competitor names and also our best performing keywords from our non-branded search campaigns. Maybe also our branded campaigns, depends on the account we're talking. So what you can do here in the audience manager, I have like a custom segment here. So under custom segments, you can create a new custom segment. I have one here, and then I just took the best performing queries here and some competitor websites. And you can then use this audience in, for example, display campaigns, YouTube campaigns, you name it. That can be really helpful for performance. So that means you can target people who had these queries in their search history, or they had contact, they might have visited a competitor page, meaning those people can be relevant for you. And then I like to update this every, let's say, 3 months, 6 months. It depends on how much we're actually using custom segments, but this is not a set and forget thing, guys. Are new campaign types relevant? These are just some questions you can regularly ask yourself, like, hey, are we running the okay campaign types? For example, we might run shopping. Should we also run ad search, or maybe even a bit of an upper funnel campaign? Is your ad content still relevant? So are your USPs still what they should be? Do you still have the right shipping in your ads? Do you still have the right review score in your ads? Are you still using the right ad copy? I like to align this with the business owner every few months, just to make sure that, hey, we're actually saying the things that we should be saying in our marketing message. Then pricing, of course, for e-commerce, but also maybe for SaaS or any other business that mentions pricing on their website. Make sure to regularly compare with competitors. I like to do this every 3 months or so. Also the same thing for USPs. Are you running free shipping, or are you running super fast shipping? Maybe your competitor also does it, or maybe you're pretty weak on your shipping times. I have this custom GPT I use for this. I'm gonna explain all about it in another video, not today, but this is something you can definitely check. Review all your extensions, guys. Sometimes we see outdated extensions, maybe outdated site links or ad copy that's just a bit off. Make sure to have the right text in here. And the negative keyword applications. Whenever we audit accounts, sometimes keyword lists can get really, really messy. You don't want to have like 20 different lists that are all kind of saying the same thing. I really like to keep like an overview here. Also, we have this item ID performers, moving over to the PMax and the shopping. So I have this report I use, and then I say like, hey, I want the item ID and I want the product title, for example. And then I can see like, hey, how many clicks do we have? How much are we spending per product, and how is performance? So let's say this product has over 100 clicks, but then again, spend is pretty low. Let's say this would have spent around 50, maybe even 100 euros, then we might want to exclude this. Of course, depending on the way our segmentation is set up. Update your audience signal every once in a while if you're running PMax. Are all listing groups filled with products? Sometimes we see campaigns that are segmented by, I don't know, like category, custom label, could be all sorts of stuff. And then the custom label is removed from the feed, or the categories are changed, and naming conventions are changed. Then it gets really messy. Just make sure that all your listing groups are okay. Check your landing page performance. So you can create like a landing page report showing you where PMax sends all your traffic to. I like to check it if we're not running feed only PMax, of course, because then it will send traffic to product pages. That's just something you really want to check. For example, you could be sending traffic to privacy policy pages, then I would probably just exclude those. PMax spend allocator. This is Mike Rowe's script. I'm not going to run all the way through it. If you're running PMax, check out his script. They can really tell you, like, is your campaign running on shopping? Is it running on search? Is it running on display? And how is performance? Really important to know for you guys. Then for Mercer Center are a few quick checks here. I'm going to do a separate video all about Google Mercer Center. This is just some quick checks that you can do. Make sure you don't have any product feed errors or any account errors. So I'm just going to check this here under products, requires attention. We can see this is all clean, but here under view history, you can see how your disapprovals were in the last, let's say, 30 days. Really important to know. So for example, we had like a disapproval here, something we might want to know more about. This can really help you control your campaigns. If you have like disapprovals going up and down, that can really influence performance. So make sure to set some time in your agenda to review your Google Mercer Center every once in a while. Are your feed fields still functional? Sometimes fields change, things change in product feeds. I have this link here. Make sure to not spot any errors here. Perform a feed audit. I like to do one every, let's say, 6 months. I have a file here. I'm not going to run through it, but just make sure that all your fields, all your required fields and your optional fields are just on point, guys, that you have like good titles, good descriptions. I also get help from a custom GPT I created here. I'm gonna do a separate video about it. Audit your feed scoring. Yeah, so I like to use Channable, and Channable has like a quality overview in every feed, and then it says like, hey, you have some sizes that are empty, and it contains lots of super useful tips you can use to fix your product feed. Something to really check every once in a while, because custom alerts aren't really possible here. Then your product segmentation, if you're running, let's say, product heroes segmentation, or maybe another segmentation based on custom labels, make sure to check if your custom labels are actually filled. If you have an error here, or your script fails, or your API fails, things can really get messy quick. I just like to review my product segmentation at least every month, make sure that it's still on point, and we're pushing the right products in the right campaigns. I also like to check my my out of stock products. I just pick all products from the account, sort by conversions, and then see like, hey, is something out of stock? If so, I just contact the business owner saying, hey, there's like a pretty important product out of stock here. We might want our purchasing department to restock on this. And also review your assets. Just make sure your headlines are on point and are delivering strong messages all throughout your account. These are just some generic points. Obviously, there is much more you can do, but these are just the things that you can cover in nearly any account. And of course, every account has its own nuances and its own things that are different. So then again, this is just like a general overview. So for search campaigns, I started with DSA here. So just check your DSA pages and your dynamic targets. DSA is of course dynamic search ads. So I just explained all about it here. Make sure to regularly review your landing pages. I once had that DSA sent traffic to the thank you page of a lead gen business. This is really something you don't want because obviously it kept measuring conversions. I spotted it after 2-3 days, so nothing bad happened, but this is something you should really be on top of. Just regularly review your max CPCs, guys. Sort your search terms by highest CPC. If you see any crazy outliers without conversions, a portfolio max CPC, a portfolio build strategy with a max CPC might be something for you. I'm going to do a different video on this as well. Do you have any disapprovals? Yeah, obviously this is something we can review in the policy manager. Check your performance on device. We already went through this. Also regularly check your ad group performance and your keyword performance. I like to check it on a 90-day basis and then see how it aligns with my targets and pause if something is underperforming. Can your campaign structure be simplified? In some audits we notice a bit of outdated campaign structures. So lots of different campaign guides, entire lists of campaigns. You might want to consolidate some campaigns, or at least just have like a critical look at your account structure. Is this still the way we want to control this account? Do the targets make sense? And should we maybe change something in the account structure? I just ask myself, hey, do all accounts have a clear goal, and do they have enough data for smart bidding? This is not the entire question, but it is part of the question, and I can already answer something for you. I also like to add best performing search terms from DSA or search categories from PMax as keywords if they show really good performance. Of course, there's more for search, but I also covered already some things here regarding just check all these things. Then you're also, of course, already checking search. And for all the extensions, for example, that is also on search. So therefore, I kept the search part kind of short here. And I already also discussed the search terms bit. That of course also aligns with search. That's just a quick tip for you. For branded search, I like to keep my impression share high, depending on the brand name, of course. It's something we should check. I always like to bid manually here. So if I see a very low impression share, or maybe due to increased competitor activity, it could be whatever reason, then I just increase the CPC. Then for the DSA part, I'm just going to quickly show this to you guys. So check your dynamic targets if you're using DSA. You can use you can see your dynamic targets here. So I have like a DSA all pages here. So here I see that some pages are blocked. So actually after this video, I'm just going to review this and see, hey, is this something that I want to do something with? What you're looking for here is errors. So you want all statuses to be eligible. Display, and of course demand gen kind of falls in between of the display and YouTube here. So whenever I audit display campaigns or I optimize display campaigns, I like to check my audience, like, hey, is data still coming in for every audience we added, and are those audiences still eligible? Are they still growing? Are we seeing a trend in users here? Because your audiences need at least 1,000 visitors to work. I also like to look at some new audiences here. So check your your well-performing audiences, you can do this under Audience Manager and your data insights. I'm not going to review this here. This is just something for you to check. Check your assets, check your headlines, check your copy, make sure it's strong. Already covered this, of course. If you see anything that's off or any text that should be changed, this is the time. Check your placements. You want to run a placement report and check the placements for your, let's say, your display campaign. And you see lots of clicks coming in, or you see lots of impressions with no clicks. Those are probably red flags, and you might want to remove some of those placements. Check your frequency capping. I think this should have been in YouTube actually, but a frequency cap is something you can set. Like, hey, I don't want to keep on pushing ads. I want to push, let's say, 5 ads a week for a certain person. I haven't really wrote about it here because it really differs per account, but it definitely is something you can check. If you're running a remarketing campaign, you want to turn off optimized targeting, but you have to do so on an ad group level in your display campaign. Why? If you're running a remarketing campaign and you don't turn off optimized targeting, it's actually not only remarketing, because then you basically allow Google to go beyond your remarketing plans. Again, check your assets. For YouTube, I like to exclude channels. I like to exclude kids channels as well. I'm just going to write down this guy here, Danny Geertsen. He recently posted about this on LinkedIn. He has like a huge list of kids channels that you can exclude. Make sure to do so, because it's probably wasted ad spend. And again, check your performance on an audience level. I use audience here because I segment my YouTube campaigns by audience, but it could also be, of course, on video level. If you have any underperforming videos, you can pause them to force spend towards better performing videos. Also, experiments. If you're running experiments, I'm going to do a separate video about it as well. Just regularly check how they perform and keep on updating. Keep on updating towards your client or towards your manager. Hey, how are our experiments performing? You want to make sure everyone is up to date. Then we also have Microsoft Ads, of course. If you have it, and I noticed in lots of all this that it's sometimes a bit of a set and forget. People turn it on, they import their Google Ads, they import it into Microsoft Ads, and then they just let it run. It's something you really want to check regularly, guys. I've seen it waste money numerous times. Quarterly business review. I'm a big fan of QBRs. Make sure to align with your manager or with the business owner. Like, hey, how are we doing in terms of performance? Are we making our targets? Are we happy? Are we satisfied? What should we change? Are we still doing the things we should be doing? And then for feeds, I just linked you guys this feed audit file. But if you did the feed audit, just make sure to set some time for yourself to actually work on those findings and to improve that product feed, guys. Really important to have a strong product feed if you're running shopping, if you're running PMax. Okay, so that was it, guys. I really hope this was super valuable for you guys. I really hope that you're going to use this to optimize your own accounts, and it provides you with a clear overview of, hey, what do I need to do? When do I need to do it? Feel free to make a copy for yourself here. Add your own optimizations in here as well, if you like. This is not like 100% complete list. It's like a basic overview to really help you in making your planning and knowing what to check when. It was super helpful for me and for the team at AdCrease to have this. I really love working like this. It's like a super structured way. I want to thank you guys for your time. I hope you really find it valuable. If you have any questions, or if you would like a second opinion about your account or an audit, or want us to help you with your Google Ads, contact me on LinkedIn. Shoot me a message. You can also contact us through the website. That was it, guys. Thanks.